Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hey, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 273, A Most Violent Year. My name is Eric.
My name is Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Eric.
How are you, sir?
Most violent.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
I thought it fit the theme.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Excellent.
B minus.
All right. Hey, B minus is better than a C plus. That's way
Right?
better than average. I'll take it.
Thank you, sir. And how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
That's good to hear.
I am not violent.
Also, that is even better to hear, actually.
Yeah, I'm medicated, so I'm not violent anymore.
Well, Jeremy Anderson will be happy to hear that.
I do check in with him every now and then just to be like, hey, I haven't hit anybody recently. Hope you're doing well. I never hear back from him. It's weird.
That is weird. Well, he's busy. He's got a wife and kid, right?
It's true, yeah. He's got a lot of irons and fires.
Sure, that sounds like him.
I feel like he's into cryptocurrency now, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's hope he invested heavily in turtle coin.
I hope so. Oh, so good. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been so good this year.
It has. I thought the first two episodes were a little shaky, but then the other episodes have been fantastic.
Yeah. I had to look up what the Patrick Ewing thing was.
Oh,
that he bought in the it was some like NBA
okay,
NFT right. Basically. I forget what it was called, like a Slam Jam or something. I don't know, some made up bullshit.
Sure.
But like, oh great, we're making fun of NFTs today. I am all in for this.
No, yeah, I'm always on board for that. I was I don't know why this makes me think of it. I was listening to a podcast earlier today. It was about Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
But for some reason, because they started talking about Todd McFarlane.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Because McFarlane is like the first, or he tried to get a Hannibal Lecter figure made, but could never get the rights. But they went off on this like small tangent about Todd McFarlane and how he got the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire balls, and then had to sell them to pay off a hockey player who he defamed.
Right. I'm surprised that, or if they have been, if there are Spawn NFTs already. I have not heard about them, but if there are not, I am surprised.
You know what? I am too. I figured he would be right on top of that.
Yeah.
Well, he was probably too busy launching Spawn Universe.
That's true. That's true.
The thing everybody clamored for in 1993. He's finally given us.
And you know what? The thing is, the script was actually written in 1993 as well, and it shows. I read the Spawn Universe one shot, and I read King Spawn #1.
I think I read Spawn Universe, but I just kind of skimmed through King Spawn.
I actually enjoyed King Spawn more.
All right, is it because it had a Haunt story in it?
No, actually, I didn't know anything about Haunt going in, and still really don't know anything about Haunt, even after having read that story.
That's fine. I read like the first 10 issues, and I still don't know what Haunt was about.
But yeah, I was like, this is my time to jump onto Spawn finally. So I figured I'd give it a shot, and not a good jumping on point at all.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I was certainly all in on the Image Comics bandwagon when it first started in the early '90s, and definitely, Spawn was my guy, alongside Savage Dragon. But I eventually came to realize that the stories aren't good.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much entirely in it for Todd McFarlane art, and then he stopped doing the art. And so I stopped buying.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. But you know what? If Todd McFarlane announced tomorrow that he was actually drawing something for more than a handful of pages, I'd buy it.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
He's a good artist.
Yes, he is. I mean, it's been pointed out that he's, terrible at anatomy and layout and, storytelling, but he's dynamic and he taps into that 90s kind of thing that I like without having all the 90s kind of things that I hate.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Though also he has a shitload of chains.
Well, sure. Yeah. Have you seen the new Venom?
I saw the Free Comic Book Day preview.
Okay.
For it.
I read the last issue of the previous Venom series, the Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman one.
Yeah.
And it introduced the new Venom, which is Eddie Brock's son.
Right.
And Venom's got chains now.
Oh, I didn't notice that he had chains. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Because now the symbiote doesn't live inside of his kid. It's when he's not Venom, the symbiote turns into a black dog that he leads around on a chain.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then he forms a giant, venomy shell around him, and then he has chains around his wrists like Pit.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. The 90s are back, baby.
Yeah. Kids love chains. LLC. I did actually. So when I saw that Eddie Brock's son is the new Venom, I was like, wait, isn't Eddie Brock's son a child?
Uh-huh.
But then I started thinking about it'd be kind of fun to have this child trying to control this just murderous symbiote.
Sure.
And then I realized that it's basically your Dexter pitch for Lil Dexter. Dexter and his Dark Passenger.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit.
So yeah, I think we should do that.
Yeah. I got a lot of heat from a friend of mine about my little Dexter pitch.
Really?
Yeah, she was very upset that I called Deb bratty in my little write-up.
She's a sister archetype in this pitch.
Yeah.
What do you want?
She grows up to be a fine woman, but when she's a kid, she's a little brat.
Yeah.
There's got to be a foil for Dexter and the Dark Passenger.
Right. Foil / love interest. Dexter.
I don't acknowledge that those seasons ever occurred.
Yeah, it's crazy how that show just ended after the 4th season. But what a way to go out.
It's true.
So perfect. I
It's
can't
weird
wait
that
to
they're
see what
bringing it
happens
back
next.
now, right?
I know, yeah. How did he end up where he did? Who knows? No one knows. Where are all the characters that we know and love?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
They all had a farewell party for him.
Yeah, I guess so.
After, he grieved for his dead wife for a while.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
He just needed a clean start.
I would actually be super into it if that is what the show, The Returning Dexter, was. It's just like a Superman Returns style. We only acknowledge the first 4 seasons. Nothing else happened.
That would be bold. I'd appreciate that.
Just wait for Jennifer Carpenter to walk through the door at the end of the first episode, and then we'll know.
Yep.
Anyway, this is a movie podcast where we talk exclusively about movies.
It's previously. We have only been talking for the last 11 minutes about a most violent year.
Right. Or as I called it in a text to you earlier, Oscar and Jessica's super sexy crime time.
And I didn't want to text back to you, but you're a little off the mark.
A little bit, yeah.
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 I did not know what this movie was truly about, other than, Oscar Isaac in a crime drama with Jessica Chastain. Please sign me up.
Absolutely.
Even though I said that, I then took 7 years to actually watch it. Because this movie came out in 2014.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't know what the plot was going to be. I didn't know what this is about. I just sort of vaguely knew crime stuff with very sexy people. It seems to be a recurring theme now. Just another drama about real estate.
Yeah, and closing. Gotta be closing.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And there's also very little violence in this movie.
There is, yeah. I mean, there is some,
right?
And the moments of violence did shock me every time.
Sure.
Like there were more jump scares in this movie than I expected there to be.
There was one that really got me, but we'll get into that probably.
Okay, probably. I imagine it's one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I like my impression of it going in was that Oscar Isaac is maybe like a crime boss or something.
Yeah, that is,
and no, not really at all.
Yeah, he is. This movie is... I feel like I say this all the time. It's weird. But mostly in that it presents this character who is clearly into some shady stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also, is so in, the lightest of gray areas within that shade. He comes off very moral in this movie.
Yeah.
But also still willing to be completely immoral about everything, too.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good description. I mean, it's sort of like what he says at the end about doing, everything that he did was the most right way to do it. So,
yes.
Even if it wasn't, it's all gray, basically, is what he's saying. Is there's degrees of right and wrong,
right?
And he tries to mitigate the wrong as much as he can.
And I feel he's mostly successful in that.
I feel like that too. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely decision points throughout the movie that he could have taken to do less right things, whether it's, arming the drivers or getting his wife's family involved who we don't know outright, but it's pretty heavily implied that Jessica Chastain's character's family is real bad people.
Yeah.
And he chooses not to do that. So, he's trying at least.
Yeah. And I was honestly shocked that, her family never came into the picture at all.
I was too, yeah. One of the first conversations that they have is, she says something about getting her brother involved.
Right.
And he's like, no, don't do that. And I was like, all right, that's Chekhov's brother.
Yep.
He's going to show up at some point.
Well, someone's brother does, and he was never mentioned in the first act.
That's true. And never heard from again.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize that they had kids at first until the scene where Jessica Chastain gets home and their daughter is playing with a loaded gun. Like, at first I was like, who are those children? Why are they
come
there?
on, Joe.
Look, I'm dumb. All right.
That's fair. This is a really good movie.
It was super good. Yeah, I agree. It was riveting.
Yeah. It is. It's. I'm gonna say it. The perfect length.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just it is slowly paced, but it is all building to something. And even though that something is still pretty open-ended by the end of the movie, it was still really satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is just methodical in what it's doing, and I'm honestly disappointed that this movie doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that more people don't talk about it, especially with how both Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain have sort of taken off,
right?
In the years since it came out.
Being the two sexiest people in the face of the planet.
Right. Well, I think that's why I had this on my mind to pick, was because of their show that's coming out.
Okay.
Scenes from a Marriage, which I believe is an HBO limited series. So I'd seen stuff where they were doing press for it, and I think it reminded me of this movie. So maybe by virtue of that coming out, more people will start paying attention to this movie as well.
That would be awesome. And also, isn't Scenes from a Marriage that Adam Driver movie from last year?
That is Marriage Story.
Oh, okay.
That is a different marriage crumbling project.
From two other very sexy people.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to that too. That'll be part of our Adam Driver series.
Oh, of course. That is the stated goal of this podcast. Every Oscar Isaac movie, every Adam Driver movie.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't even really know, like, how to talk about it. 'Cause yeah, you're right. It's mostly about just like real estate. Like he's trying to buy this, so he runs a like fuel distributor.
Yes.
And he's trying to buy this lot, like abandoned fuel distribution lot that's like right next to his existing lot. Mm-hmm. But that would be a big step up in the business for him. Meanwhile, he's dealing with like all of these basically like robberies and intimidation of his employees, and the investigation by I'm not sure who. Was it like the DA?
It was the DA, yes.
Okay.
Played by David Oyelowo. Yeah.
Wait, you say it again and I'll say it again and we'll see who got it right.
David Oyelowo?
David Oyelowo, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a bad white person.
So am
I. But yeah, so he's got that going on, and just like conflict with his wife, and it's just there's a lot going on, and it's all really good, and the movie's great.
Yeah. And one of the, I think, best aspects for me anyway was that you see him dealing like with his competitors. Like there's a very tense scene early on at a barber shop, which has a really good payoff towards the end.
Yeah.
But it's just like it builds like to some other scenes and other things going on and everything that's affecting him, and like it is enough that still like 30 minutes into the movie, I'm thinking, well, is he a gangster? Because it's all very mafia-like. It is all run like organized crime. And like he meets with like the heads of the families that run all these other oil companies.
Right.
And it feels like this should just be a scene in The Godfather or something. And like they meet like in a back room of an Italian restaurant or something. I'm just like, this is classic mob stuff, but it's, about the heating industry.
Right.
But also you do get the sense that at least some of these people are very mobbed up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they actually are or not.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, there's just, like, it's weird, like, it's this sort of subdued crime movie. It was interesting, tonally very interesting.
I think another thing that I absolutely loved about this movie is that it is a period piece.
Mm-hmm.
But at least not that I heard throughout, never once is there just an obnoxious needle drop of like the hits of 1981 or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, there's period music at the beginning, but even the Marvin Gaye song is from like the 70s.
Right. And like that's the thing that always like that I think about. Like it has become a thing to me like in the past couple of years. Just I really hate needle drops in movies.
Yeah.
I hate movies with just I guess what I would call them obvious soundtracks.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I think Quentin Tarantino and James Gunn both do a good job of picking like just obscure enough music to enhance what they're doing that it never truly bothers me. But then like, someone like David O. Russell, like I just keep thinking back to American Hustle. And like I turned that movie off like 30 minutes in because after like the sixth, song from like 1973 or whatever, like major hit or whatever, it was just like, man, he is just trying so hard to be Martin Scorsese, and it's fucking terrible.
I feel like this is something that I heard that, like, I don't know if you listen to the Freedom podcast at all, but I feel like I feel like this is something that they talked about there, where like, just like when a movie is a period piece and it uses movie or music from the specific year,
right?
Like that's not how music works.
No, yeah. That's actually kind of what I was getting to was like, you mentioning the Marvin Gaye song. It was like, people from, like if somebody made a music like of 2021, like, about my life, they'd be hearing music from like 1996 because that's when I gave a shit about music.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to REM and Rage Against the Machine for the past week. Right? And none of that is from the past 10 years.
Exactly. Like, I couldn't tell you a hit song from this year. I don't know who's popular.
You haven't listened to WAP? Was that even this year or was that last year? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard that song for the first time a couple weeks ago. Jenny made me listen to it. It's a time. You should look up the video for it.
Oh, okay.
It's really something.
Okay. I will do that after the show here.
It's WAP.
Okay. All right.
By Megan Thee Stallion.
Alrighty. I will look that up then.
Excellent. I hope all the listeners look that up as well.
Yeah, because if you're listening to this show, clearly you don't know what's happening either. So.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, it was just, that was one of those things, like, they just didn't need to do that, and I so appreciated that. And they're never even, I don't think they even mention what year it is. Like, they're just, it's relying on cars and clothes alone to tell you that it's not taking place in the now.
Yeah.
Just technology in general.
Right. Yeah, there's like a title card early on, maybe, but other than that, nobody's like, it's 1981, for Christ's sake. What are we doing here? I don't know why they sound like that.
I think this takes place in New York, right?
It does, that's true, all right.
There's, again, a lot of gangstery type people. I think one of the characters does actually sound like that.
I think you're right.
I guess the Teamster leader that is trying to convince Albert Brooks to arm all the drivers.
Right.
Because Albert Brooks is in this movie.
Albert Brooks is so good in this movie.
He is great, despite the wig.
Yeah, the wig's pretty terrible.
Yeah. I'm not sure why they made that choice, but, all right, fine.
It was a period-accurate wig.
I mean, I don't think I know what Albert Brooks' hair looks like these days, but...
yeah, that's true. I guess
7 years ago.
I guess I don't really either. I picture his, 80s and 90s hair.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, a dramatic Albert Brooks role is always welcome for me.
I agree. He is great at them. I like Albert Brooks in pretty much anything as is. Like I saw Defending Your Life when I was young, and I thought that was hilarious, even though I probably didn't understand it.
Right. We watched that fairly recently, and it holds up really well.
Say what?
We watched Defending Your Life fairly recently, and it holds up really well.
Oh, yeah, I saw it a couple months ago. It was on HBO Max for a while. And,
yeah.
It was really good. But, of course, also, his second best role as Hank Scorpio in The Simpsons.
That's always the first thing I think of. Legitimately.
That is one of the best episodes of all time. A most violent year.
Yes, sorry. I was stifling a cough.
It's all right. I'm drinking a beer.
Excellent. If I had a complaint,
mm-hmm.
It's that I wish that Jessica Chastain had been in more of it, because it's very definitely Oscar Isaac's movie. He's in just about every scene.
Pretty much, yeah.
Except for maybe like two of them between, Albert Brooks and David Oyelowo, and then the Teamster leader.
Yep.
But yeah, like Jessica Chastain, I feel like her character was fascinating, and we get maybe just the tiniest glimpse of her, not the full Chastain, if you will.
Mean you wanted to see her naked?
I mean, not specifically.
You're a sexist pig, Joe.
I know. I wanted to see both of them naked, both her and Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that either.
And Albert Brooks. Let's just do it.
Sure, why not?
But no, I wanted to see more of her outside of just her interactions with her husband.
Yeah, this movie definitely does not pass the Bechdel test for sure.
No.
She might be one of 3 women in this movie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because there's her, there's the woman who runs like the competing fuel business that Oscar goes to hand in hat, or hat in hand.
Right.
And then the lady DA,
mm-hmm.
who I think maybe has one audible line in the entire movie.
Yeah, I noticed that actress, Ashley Williams, I recognize her from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
But I noticed that she got a special thanks in the credits, so I wonder if there was more for her to do that got cut.
Huh. Yeah, possible. I did not recognize her. I mean, I've seen Him, but she did not register with me. But I caught the name because it is, of course, the name of Bruce Campbell's character in The Evil Dead.
Of course. There's the other female character that I remember having a line is Elizabeth Marvel's character.
Oh yeah.
The I guess helped set a trap for for one of Oscar Isaac's employees.
Yeah.
And I only remember her because her name is Elizabeth Marvel.
Yeah, I've seen her in a few things here and there. I think she was on True Blood. I can't recall exactly, but yeah, she does have a cool last name. And they never go back to like what that scene was about.
No, not at all.
like I figured, like, you know, because the movie opens with one of his employees getting, you know, truck jacked basically.
Yeah.
And left on the side of the highway. And then that character like keeps coming back throughout the movie to you know, some real pivotal moments.
Yeah.
And I figured, okay, they're setting up like a secondary thing, you know, with this fresh-faced, you know, guy. But you know, yeah, he comes back to the office after getting beat up, and that's the last we see of him.
Yeah, that was real weird.
Yeah. But yeah, and I thought, you know, like the scene where it's setting up that character and like the other characters, like these young sales folk, I figure, you know, that was going to play into it more, but it never really did.
Yeah, I thought maybe it would just be like, this is what Oscar Isaac's day to day is like. This is how he onboards new employees. So we see that, you know, he's a good charismatic businessman.
Yeah, and he is.
And he is, definitely.
But you know, and you know, like I said, a little shady, but not super shady.
Yeah.
And also willing to get his hands dirty as he engages in a car chase.
Yeah, you know what I wasn't expecting in this movie? A car chase.
Yeah, and then a foot chase through the city and into the subway. That got real tense.
It was so tense. Super tense.
Yeah. The car chase, though, reminded me of playing Grand Theft Auto.
All right.
And just how I hate those levels.
All right.
Because it's real tense there, but like the stakes are higher because I'm trying to not crash the car.
Right.
And in this, I'm just hoping that he doesn't crash the car. You know.
Yeah, like I had so many thoughts during that sequence. Like, did they know that well, obviously they knew they were being followed, but yeah, were they leading him into an ambush? Like, what was going to happen? Was he going to find what he wanted to find? Right. Like, was he going to get shot? I mean, yeah, it was just a great, well executed sequence.
It really was. Definitely, I would say one of the highlights of this movie for sure. One of the great set pieces of this movie.
Yeah, I really liked the way that when he was chasing the guy on foot, I liked the way that was shot. Like, there's just an angle of him running that was so disorienting. I don't know what it was that made it so disorienting, but it was like he was all over the frame and the camera was moving all over, but it also felt like it was a steady cam, so it wasn't shaky. Yeah. It was really cool.
I've never seen any other movie by the director J.C. Chandor, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
But just going on this alone, in lesser hands, Like, that foot chase could have been a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like just close-ups and shaky and nauseating. But it was clear. The action was clear the entire time, and still maintained, really good tension. Especially because, like, I don't know if you thought this at all, but, they show Oscar Isaac, like, the movie opens with him running.
Right.
Like and shows a couple other times that he is just an avid, runner, like, just for, exercise and joy.
Right.
And so, like, every time he started chasing somebody, I was like, you're going to catch him. You know what you're doing.
I did have that thought. Like, the early running sequences were setting up him chasing someone.
Like, I first thought it when the guy shows up at the outside of his house.
Yeah.
And he chases him through the snow. I was like, catch him.
Right. Like, at least we know, he probably would have kept chasing him if he hadn't cut the shit out of his foot.
Right, yeah. Also, running through snow is barefoot is not great.
That's true. That's a good point as well.
Yeah. I loved the fact that this was set in the winter. I feel like not enough movies are set in the winter that's also not at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it just made me feel good.
It does. It just adds a little extra something to it.
Yeah. But, going back 39 topics ago, you are absolutely right about Jessica Chastain's role. Like, she's great in what she does have to do. But sometimes I felt like her role was just being distilled to, cranky mobster's daughter sometimes.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
she's mostly just sort of a dramatic foil for Oscar Isaac's character.
Yeah.
And I mean, the scenes that they have together are fantastic.
Sure.
I just wanted more.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So one of the jump scares, I'm guessing, was the deer.
Yes, that was definitely one of them.
Yeah. That, was just like, oh shit, like things have turned.
Yeah.
But then it never really did.
Right. Yeah, it was when they hit the deer first, and then when she kills the deer, like, it just in the span of a minute, two just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, like, I had been tired and was maybe starting to doze a little bit up to that point, and then from that point on, no. Not at all.
But, I felt like that was really gonna change the movie into, like, just her being sort of like a manipulative mastermind, or forcing him to do the things that he clearly just does not want to do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever really turn that way.
Yeah.
The closest it gets is like when she reveals that she's been embezzling money.
Yeah, that was amazing. The whole time. Yeah, I feel like him accepting that and taking that money to finish off the land purchase deal is it's a big turning point for him. Yeah. But it's not played that way.
No, not at all.
I mean, the whole thing is just so understated. And then, the way that scene, like, the last 5 minutes, basically, where they sign the deal and then are on the property and the guy comes back, and the way that whole scene plays out, is just so, indicative of how far he has come and how far he has maybe fallen.
Right.
In the process. Yeah, just really well done. I love that there's a direct through line from the first scene to the last scene. Like, it's just, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. And it's, I also love that throughout the entire movie, like, like, no matter what he eventually winds up doing, Oscar Isaac is right.
Yeah.
And, you know, him summing up, you know, at the end to the DA character. I'm not going to try pronouncing his name again.
That's fair.
You know, like you said, you know, him choosing the most right path. Like, you just, like, even when he's trying to convince his guys not to have guns in the truck, like, you know, it's like, you know, he's right. You know, it's going to escalate. And, like, I just did not expect it to be, like, from the character that does it.
Right.
And that whole scene is amazing too. Like, when he just decides to run instead of, you know, staying behind and letting the cops deal with it. Like, if he'd have done that, like, things would have been better for him.
Yeah.
But then, you know, then there's sort of what the final twist of the movie is like the whole thing leading up to that final conversation with the DA, and both of them realizing that they can use each other.
Yeah.
To do probably way more nefarious things.
Right. Well, yeah, I like that turn for the DA character as well. Like, you know, it again goes back to the gray areas, and, you know, politics is that's all politics is.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, there's justice and then there's politics, and they don't necessarily go hand in hand. Right.
And it feels like it's just an extension of what had been happening to Oscar Isaac throughout anyway.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, he's being, you know, manipulated and shafted by, like, his competitors, and now he's got to deal with, like, this political thing now too.
Yeah.
And realizing that it's probably just better off if he, you know, plays ball.
Right.
But man, what a great fucking movie this was.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about, you know, whether I would watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I absolutely would watch it again.
As would I.
The performances are all great.
Yep.
The story is captivating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even just, like, as a movie just to have on, I feel like it would be really just kind of comforting in a weird way.
A little bit, yeah, I can see that.
Like the way that I find Nightcrawler to be comforting.
I totally get that. Yeah.
Zodiac and other fucked up movies.
I would say this one is by far the least fucked up of the ones you just mentioned.
Definitely.
Like, I mean, I still just don't inherently trust Jake Gyllenhaal because of Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Oh, man.
And I like that, you know, it is this crime drama, but it's so small. Like it ends on, like, the implication that it would be bigger, you know,
yeah,
post this movie. But, you know, like, I mean, I don't want to see a sequel or anything like that. But you know, it is so small stakes for, like, everything else in the world, but like big stakes for just this one person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the sequel thing real quick, you know, the podcast I was listening to about Silence of the Lambs, I'm assuming you've seen it.
Silence of the Lambs? Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Just making sure you've never seen a Dracula movie. So
that's fair.
You know, they say, like, the movie ends perfectly with Hannibal Lecter, like, giving the final phone call to Clarice.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, telling her that he's going to have a friend for dinner. And he's like, it's the scene that made everybody think that they wanted 5 Hannibal sequels. But it really shouldn't have happened that way.
Yeah, it really should not.
And I say this as somebody who actually likes Hannibal and Red Dragon.
Sure.
But also, you know, they're clearly not as good as Silence of the Lamb.
Yeah, definitely.
But at least the TV show makes up for it.
Oh, I love the TV show.
It's so fucking good. I gotta rewatch it.
You're talking about Clarice, right?
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
CBS crime procedural?
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Love Clarice. Gone too soon. R.I.P.
Oh, no, they canceled it.
Yeah.
Aww.
I remembered one other thing that I wanted to say about A Most Violent Year.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. The accents that Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain are doing.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, "Oh, this is really iffy accent work. Like, I don't know about this. I don't really like it." But then, like, as I watched them, and basically, it's like they speak, relatively accent free. Except for every now and then, like Oscar Isaac has a Hispanic accent that comes out every now and then, and Jessica Chastain has, I'm not sure what, like a
Brooklynish.
like a Harley Quinn Brooklyn accent every now and then that pops out.
I think he does mention that like her family is from Brooklyn, so
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
during one of they're gangsters implications,
Right.
I think actually he's flat out states that they are gangsters. But,
okay.
Yeah.
but yeah, like the way that like the way that I read it was like these are people who have tried to get away from their pasts, and every now and then it just comes out, and they can't control it, but it led me from, oh, this is kind of iffy accent work, to, wow, this is a really good choice that both of them are making.
Yeah.
And I ended up really liking it and really enjoying it.
I don't know much about Oscar Isaac's, hair. I mean, I know his heritage, but I don't know about his, how he grew up or anything like that. But
Sure.
I just assumed that it might be kind of just his natural accent.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, absolutely. It's a status thing, in order to be this rich, affluent couple that they so want to be, they have put on these airs. But then when they get stressed out or angry or, have a flare up, then like those natural voices just come back.
Yeah.
And usually in private. Usually only with each other or with someone that they know fairly well.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great choice. This whole movie was, more people should watch it.
Yeah. I'm glad we're promoting it to our 5 listeners.
If that. Of course, it would also help if it was on the right streaming service.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was on Prime.
No big worries. You told me last week when you picked it, and so I went to Prime to add it to my watch list, and it was not available on Prime. At least not free on Prime.
Yeah, I think I saw it listed with the Prime symbol, but it's like it's free with a Showtime add-on or something. So
okay.
it tricked me.
It's all right. But it was on Canopy, so that solved that matter.
Yes, and Canopy is free, so hooray.
Yes, it is. God bless the library system. Maybe
Yes.
the only thing America does okay.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, we're fucked.
Oh, you don't know it.
So yeah, Most Violent Year, very good.
Yes, highly recommended.
Definitely. Do you have anything bringing you joy this week?
Yes, one thing I can't talk about publicly, and the other thing, which is the return of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yay!
I fucking love that show.
The premiere was last week, yeah, and it's so great.
Yes. I love Guillermo.
Just a goddamn delight. I like how Guillermo has evolved over the course of the series, and now he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And it looks like we're getting Christian Shaw as a regular this season.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I'm really glad that that's back as well.
What about you, sir?
This week, this coming weekend, I am going to a real live actual comic book convention.
What the what?
I know. They're back and better than ever.
Are they?
With masks and proof of vaccination, they are.
I hope for your sake that works out for you.
I do too.
Yeah.
I bought some new masks. I'm going to double up.
Alrighty.
And try to avoid people the best I can. But yeah, I'm excited to be out among comics again.
What show is this?
It's Rose City Comic Con in Portland.
Okie doke.
Which
is a bit of a trip for you?
It's like a 4-hour drive.
It's a bit of a trip.
So it's a little bit of a trip, yeah. But yeah, I'll go down there and stay for the weekend and do the show, and I'm going to do some interviews while I'm there for the beat.
Awesome.
And just try and do some general, what is going to a convention during a pandemic-like coverage.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Can I give you a list of things to look out for me?
Absolutely, please do.
Yeah, all right. You said you agreed.
I did. I love to hunt for stuff, especially if it's for other people.
All right. I won't inundate you.
No, you can do whatever you want.
I will inundate you.
Excellent. Oh boy, do you have a movie in mind for next week?
I do. I did not pick this movie until a couple hours ago, and then when I did, I thought, "Ooh, I'm gonna pick it, and I'm gonna make a rhyme out of it." But,
oh no!
I will not be embarrassing myself with that. And just saying that the movie that I would like to watch, if you have not seen it, it is a Netflix film. It is a biopic about blaxploitation actor Rudy Ray Moore.
Okay.
It is called Dolomite Is My Name.
Okay.
Starring Eddie Murphy. About like I said, Rudy Ray Moore, who was played a fairly infamous blaxploitation character called Dolomite.
Excellent.
He was a comedian and sort of proto-rapper back in the 70s.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and a couple weeks ago I said, I want to try to consciously pick more, person of color-led films. And this one was on my list, so
Nice.
Let's do it.
I like that the first one that you picked with that in mind was Steel.
Sure. I mean, I could have picked Blade.
True,
but,
you could have.
I've seen that 100 times, yeah.
But no, I have not seen this, and I've been interested in it, so definitely up for watching that.
Awesome. Alrighty, then we will do that next week and probably talk about it.
I would assume so.
Yeah, you never know how it goes.
Maybe even record it for public consumption.
I mean, after 273 episodes, it'd be a first.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.